Landon Hood makes his 16th appearance on the season. 12th out of the bullpen for Gonzaga, the WCC Freshman of the Year. Had a 3-1 record this season, a 2.83 ERA through 47 2/3 innings. And you look at his strikeout to walk ratio right there. I mean, 70 strikeouts, just 20 walks. He was fantastic for Gonzaga this year. Made a couple starts later in the season. First pitch to Nystrom. Paints the corner at the knees. He'll start Nystrom out 0-1.
Another guy who had an excellent year for Gonzaga. Another guy who can really miss bats. 70 punch-outs and 47 2/3. That's a great number. Just a 169 average against. And the Zags need him here.
Fly ball out towards right. Lewis doesn't need to tag up. It's going to land in front of Meffert. Quickly throws it in. A play at the plate. And Lewis tags home. RBI single for Nystrom. Second RBI of the day. And that's his 6th hit of the tournament, now through 2+ games.
Just another bloop hit. Ended up being closer at home than I certainly expected. Take another look here. Lewis has to retreat just to make sure that ball's not caught. By the time it falls, Meffert makes a strong throw home. It becomes a closer play, but in there safe. Another ball dropping in the Dons' favor.
We'll send Eddie Esquivel up to the plate. And it looks like Wrubleski's going to get a new pitch comp.
Well, you mentioned, Brian, that Landon Hood has some starts this year. 16th appearance. 4 of his previous 15 were starts. Gonzaga's going to need some length out of him. He's one of their best arms, and they really need him to come in and solidify this game.
Esquivel swings and fouls off the first pitch, 0-1.
Gonzaga might be able to overcome an uncharacteristic outing from Swim, but be hard-pressed to overcome 2 uncharacteristic outings if they get a bad one from Hood here as well.
Popped up and out of play behind.
Hood's from nearby Goodyear, Arizona. Probably enjoying being back in the Valley of the Sun, pitching here today.
Esquivel goes down the left field line and fouls it off. He'll stay at 0-2. Yeah, local product in Hood. And you know, when I talked to Coach Mactoff, what really impressed him the most with Hood is just his ability to consistently throw strikes through the zone and get ahead on hitters. We see right here on Esquivel. Here's the 0-2. Got him. Strike 3, second out of the inning now for San Francisco.
That's a big out. Looks like a change up there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, a lot of down action. Nice pitch. Big out after giving up the bloop single to start. That's a key strikeout to get to 2 outs. He can take a little bit of a breath now. Work is not done with Zach Rampin, who's been hot this weekend. Or week, I should say. We're midweek here. I'm so used to watching baseball on the weekends.
Here's the 1-0 to Rampin, who's already 0-for-1 on the afternoon. It's sort of a flare fly out over to second base that was caught by Shoup. He's had a great start to the tournament so far. He's hitting .500, 4 for 8. 3 doubles, 5 RBI. And keep an eye on that number. Rampin wasn't necessarily a guy who drove in a whole bunch of runs for San Francisco this season. Just 9 on the year coming into this tournament. It's already past that halfway mark in just 2 games. The 2-0. Out of play to our right. The fan goes to chase that foul ball. 2-1 on Rampant.
Landon Hood was the 2025 Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Arizona. That is an impressive accomplishment. Nice accolade. I think everybody knows that Arizona has some very good high school baseball. To be the Player of the Year, that's impressive.
Rampant fouls it off. That goes off of Rubleski. Trying to look back at outings for the WCC Pitcher of the Year after being named that, and then their tournament runs as Rampant spoils another pitch. It'll be 2-2 again.
You think there's a curse of the Pitcher of the Year award kind of thing going?
Not totally. I mean, I think back to Brett Gillis. You know, the first year the tournament was brought back. He was the WCC Pitcher of the Year for the University of Portland. He went 2 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 9 runs. 6 of those were earned. Diego Barrera, though, he was the Pitcher of the Year for LMU, and he had a great outing. We had 7 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs. It's Rampant again. Fights off another borderline pitch. Then you had Cal Scolari last year as the WCC Pitcher of the Year. He went 5 innings, 3 earned runs on 3 hits. He had 8 strikeouts and an 8-3 loss to LMU.
So it's a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag. And Carter Gaston, he was the WCC Pitcher of the Year back in 2024. He did not have a great outing, though. Full count out of Rampant. Runners are moving. Ball 4. So Hood so far giving up a single strikeout and a walk. That'll bring up Tyler Harris, who had that big double that just got over the glove of Bell at third his last time up. That drove in 2 runs for San Francisco. It's 1 run's already come in. It's a 6-3 lead for San Francisco. Take a look at this hit by Harris, though. Near the hands, just floated it over Bell.
That was a big hit, and he's got an opportunity for another big hit here. Already up by 3. Can pad that lead. Bases loaded.
Hood misses low and away to Harris. Starts him out 1-0.
Facing a pitcher who's struggling to find his command, just as his predecessor did. The thing that Hood has going for him is he's got a good changeup. That's an equalizer when you're behind in the count.
Gets a strike there to even the count at 1-1 on Harris. Too many times now it seems like against these Don's hitters, they're starting them out 1-0, 2-0, and you know, kind of eases the pressure for the Dons to produce at that moment. They can be a bit more selective with the pitch they want to go after. The 1-1. Good looking pitch right there. That froze Harris. It's 1-2.
That's the breaking ball there from Hood. We've seen the fastball mid-90s. Breaking ball there. A couple of good changeups. He's also yanked a couple of changeups, including the one that he walked Rampant on. But that's a nice three-pitch mix from this pitcher.
In the dirt, Rubleski blocked it with his body. It's 2-2 on Harris.
Back to the changeup there.
We're already over an hour into this game, and we're not through the second inning because of how long that first inning went, how long the top of the second went for Gonzaga. All hands on deck in this elimination game. 2-2. Harris down the right field line, but foul. For Gonzaga, obviously not how you drew it up. You're hoping that Swim could, you know, at the very least go 5 innings. You wouldn't have to go into your bullpen. Maybe you were thinking Hood would start the late game if Gonzaga had the lead in this one and possibly moved on to that winner of the losers bracket as Harry sends a screamer into the dugout. Everybody's okay as it goes off the netting. 2-2.
Well, the way this has gone, if Gonzaga comes back and wins this tournament, they are going to win it using some pitchers who have not contributed a lot this year. That's just going to be the way it has to go when you only get so much out of swim and you're coming up through the losers bracket. So it would be a full team effort if they can claw their way to this title.
Aries fouls it off into the glove of Wrubleski. And that'll strand 3 on base, but the RBI single from Jackson Nystrom adds to the lead for the Dons. It's 6-3 as we head to the third.
Every pitcher loves having a guy like that out roaming center field, taking away hits in the gap.
Yes, tattoos one, but pulls it well foul on a first pitch. It's 0-1.
We've got a pretty good matchup here of local freshmen. Wonder if they faced each other last year. Garrison, a local kid, as well as Hood, who we touched on last inning.
Yeah, Garrison went to Desert Vista High School here in Phoenix, or close to us here in Arizona. And it's Hood back-to-back balls after that first pitch foul ball. It's 2-1. That one's low. Wrubleski unable to bring it up into the zone. 3-1. Goes after the lone away pitch, sends it out of play. Full count coming up for Garrison. Rob DeToma talked about Garrison and the recruiting process for him. He played for Team Arizona, had a walk-off home run, and because of his defensive ability, his power at the plate that he can bring, that'll be strike 3. Some frustration there from Garrison. That'll be the first out of the third for San Francisco. That brings up Isaiah Landry.
Another look there. Looks like Garrison just caught guessing. Fastball, full count. He got a fastball on 3-1. A lot of times what you see 3-1, you'll see 3-2. And that was a nice pitch there by Landon Hood. Good job putting the pressure on the batter to earn it here to start this half inning.
Landry watches that one go high and inside. He strikeout victim back in the first. He ended the first as the 9th batter of the inning. So getting his second chance, versing the second pitcher of the game for Gonzaga. He'll start out 2-0. And again, I sound like a broken record, or I feel like a broken record with how Gonzaga pitchers have started out some of these Dons hitters today. The call from the home plate umpire, Ryan Bleiberg, 2-1.
Gonzaga's strike percentage still hovering just above 50, about 53% on the day. Love to see that up at 65, 67, somewhere in there.
Out into right field, giving chase is Mefford. He's in foul territory. He'll make the catch, and 2 gone for San Francisco. Go back to the top of the order to Jared Lewis. Lewis 1 for 2 on the afternoon so far. 3 for 11 at the tournament. Singled in the second inning and scored that extra run for the Dons that has given them that 6-5 lead. Sends it out into left field. Young drifting back. He'll make the catch as it hangs up in the air. 1-2-3 inning for the Dons here in the third. Exactly what Gonzaga ordered. They trail by 1. Trying to take the lead, tie it up here in the fourth.
Well, Coach, as you mentioned, didn't start how you wanted to with Karsten Swim out there, but I'm sure you must be pleased with the bounce back you saw from your offense. A couple of 2-out, nobody on rallies.
Yeah, and they've done that all year, and I think we'll continue to do that, and we just got to slow them down a little bit and keep getting good at-bats from our guys.
I know your team is battle-tested. We talked about the road warriors that you guys have been so far this season, but what do you think is the biggest point of success for this team that has really gathered them together to go on this run for you?
Well, I think it's. I mean, you're seeing it today. They just there's no quit. They have short memory in terms of not getting too rattled and letting things bother them and just playing. And so I think that's been a characteristic that we've had all year.
In an ideal world, Coach, how long does Landon Hood stay out there today for you guys?
Well, I think since we've used him, we'll use his entire pitch count, and I think he can throw upwards of 90 pitches. I don't think we'd be able to bring him back anyway, so we got to win this one anyway, so that's kind of our mindset right now.
All right, well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the way, all right?
All right, thank you, guys.
That was the head coach for Gonzaga, Mark Machtoff, joining us for a moment here, bottom of the fourth inning, excuse me. It's TJ Rogers with the 1-2 count so far. You know, I get the sense, we've talked to Mark a couple of times now, but very even keel when he's in the dugout. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low with this club. And bringing in a whole bunch of guys, sometimes you don't know how guys are going to respond. They've had those early season tests against some quality opponents, but they are ready for this moment. Even after what happened yesterday, they still have that belief that they can make a run here and win this tournament.
Yeah, I don't think you can be a head coach as long as Mark Machtoff has been without being pretty even-keeled and able to withstand the ups and downs that you're going to face in college baseball. So he's been there, done that. He's going to be a steady hand leading this team. I thought it was interesting to hear him say that now that Hood's in the game, they may as well run with him. That's a nice luxury to have. Of course, you'd rather not burn both of your best guys in the same game, but to be able to turn it over to a guy who's had dominant stuff this year in the hopes of getting you through this game and run him out there for 90 pitches or so, it sets up Gonzaga pretty well if they can manage to put a couple more on the board.
Big strikeout right there of TJ Rogers. The freshman striking out the grad student. Mark Machtoff, 23 seasons as the head coach for Gonzaga. 658 wins. He actually surpassed Steve Hertz, the longtime coach for Gonzaga, back on April 4th, picking up that 638th victory as a head coach. And give credit to Steve Hertz. He had a great eye for picking him up, putting him on his coaching staff back in 1987.
That is for sure, coming off a nice playing career at Stanford, which always makes me happy. Part of one of the national championship teams there at Stanford. Also played football. Learned a lot in his playing days from the coach at the time, who we've talked about quite a bit here this week, Mark Marquis, who was also my coach, was at Stanford 41 years and impacted a lot of players and a lot of coaches throughout that time.
Check swing from Harmon. They appealed down to first to Scott Jones. They said he didn't go, so it'll be 1-2. Talk about Marquis. I feel like that's sort of 6 degrees of separation. 41 years in the business of coaching baseball. You're touching a lot of lives there and making a lot of connections.
That is for sure. A nice punch out there. Called strike 3. A little bit of a delay strike call there by Ryan Bleiberg. We've seen that a couple times. I wasn't sure if he was going to give him the punch out, but he did at the inside corner. Yeah, if you've been around West Coast baseball in the last 4 decades or so, you've got a Mark Marquis story. He's impacted a lot of people, sent a lot of great players up into professional baseball. You know, just here in the WCC, Brock Ungrich coached for him. Rusty Filter coached for him. Mark Machtoff played for him. He was there a long time, a legend in the game for sure.
Jackson Nystrom steps up. He's 2 for 2 already. A couple of RBI singles. Does have 1 run scored. He's 6 for 11 in the series as he puts this one high in the air into center field. Looks like Schinkel is going to camp underneath it, and he'll make the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Dons as we head to the 5th inning.
Yeah, this game's settled down a little bit now. We've had a lot of action. It's been fun, but we've got 4 zeros in a row now up on the board. Settled into a 6-5 ball game. Landon Hood's out there throwing well. So Gonzaga, although they're trailing by 1, feels like they're in a pretty good spot, certainly right in this. A lot of action left to come.
Landon Hood has retired 8 of the 10 batters that he's faced, gave up a single on the first batter. Since then, though, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, a couple of flyouts. He's looked great, the true freshman out of the bullpen for Gonzaga. As Eddie Esquivel leads things off in the bottom of the 5th, 1 for 2 in the contest today as he fouls it off of Rubleski. Let me tell you, that is sometimes a thankless job as Rubleski wore that one off the mask. You got to be a different breed of player. This one, inside outs it over toward short, played by Sanchez. Esquivel is retired for the first out in the 5th. Zach Rampant coming to the plate, 0 for 1 today. Did walk in the second, but didn't make it past first base. That's when the Dons had the bases loaded. And Landon Hood was able to get a strikeout to strand those 3 runners. Rampant is the 1 walk we just briefly talked about for Hood.
Good job!
First pitch, swing and miss, nothing in 1.
I'm pretty sure I'll get a confirmation.
Rampant wearing that 83 for San Francisco. Pops this one up on the infield. Eisenstadt will make the catch. And 2 quick outs for San Francisco. And Hood, it seems like he's been the equalizer here for Gonzaga, really slowing down what San Francisco did through those first couple of innings. They had 6 hits before Hood got onto the mound. Hood has only surrendered the 1 hit so far as Tyler Harris will come to the plate.
Yeah, Hood's been great. Just the 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 punch-outs. He's got a good fastball going, throwing 94 to 96 with the fastball. This USF team is just having a tough time getting the barrel to that fastball. And then on top of that, he can feature the curveball and the changeup. So impressive stuff here from Landon Hood. Just what this Gonzaga team needed from him coming in here to stabilize the middle of this ball game.
It's 1 foul back into the netting quickly. 0-2 on Harry's. You know, this day and age, it's not often you see guys really make a name for themselves their freshman year. So you get all these transfers coming in. Tyler Harry's one of them. He went to Centralia College. So he comes from Federal Way, Washington. Spent 2 years at Centralia before finding his home at the Division I level with the San Francisco Dons. And great hitter for Centralia. Then last year with the Dons, played in 36 games. Only hit a .190, had 19 hits and 11 RBI. Gets underneath this one. It'll stay on the infield. Sanchez calls everybody off. And another 1-2-3 inning, as it's 10 batters retired in a row by Hood. San Francisco can't get anything going. They're holding on to that 6-5 lead as we go to the 6th inning. So the final stat line for Holzmer, by the way, 3 2/3. 2 earned runs given up on 5 hits, 71 total pitches, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. As Jaden Garrison starts the bottom of the 6th inning for the Dons. Garrison 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a strikeout on the day. Got jammed inside but fouls it off behind home plate, 1-1. Now Andrew taking a few notes from Garrison over the last couple of days. And man, this outfield has been plus for the Dons through the first 2.5 games. Rubleski catching that one on the bounce, 2-1. Off the plate, and Garrison now has a 3-1 count to work with.
Hood asking where that was. He asked, was that outside? Home plate umpire Ryan Bleiberg confirmed, yes, indeed, it was. Not by much.
Garrison tries to send this one out to the gap, but it's going to hang in the air too long. and Young is able to make the play on it. A long fly out for out number 1 in the bottom of the 6th. Isaiah Landry, let's see what he can do offensively now after having that stellar defensive play in the top of the 6th. He's 0 for 2 on the day. A strikeout looking in the first, and then a fly out in foul territory in right field back in the 3rd. First pitch breaking ball that ends up near the back corner of the left-handed batter's box, 1-0.
Pitch number 61 from Hood. 42 of those have been strikes, so that's the kind of ratio you want, about 2 out of 3 strikes. He's doing a good job pounding the zone.
And we were talking around the 4th inning that it was barely over 50% strikes from the Gonzaga arms, but Hood has done a good job getting things straightened out for the Bulldogs. Landry fouls it off into the dugout for Gonzaga, 1-2. And if you heard the interview we had with Coach Mactoff, they're going to let him go. He's got full pitch count going, so he could go up to 90 pitches in this one. Landry gets out in front of another one. We'll go back to the 1-2. And that's so important in this game. You're only using 2 arms at the moment. Hopefully you don't have to dig too far into the bullpen the rest of this game. In the dirt, Rubleski keeps it in front, 2-2.
And if he keeps throwing well, that might be a flexible 90. It might be a 90 plus. His high on the year is 101. He's done that a couple of times when he was starting earlier in the year.
He's retired 11 straight batters, and that's going to end right there as Landry turns on it down the left field line. He's thinking 2, steps on the bag at first, ends up at second, and almost thought about going to 3rd, but he retreats back to the bag. And time is called. So a 1-out double for San Francisco, just the 2nd hit that Hood has given up.
We'll have a 6th inning, Isaiah Landry. Doing it on defense, doing it on offense. Just turned that one around, laced it into the corner. Easy double. Thought about 3, but probably the wise choice. Even though it's 360 down there, it still is just the left field corner, which is as close as you can get to 3rd base. Would have been risky. Instead, he's at 2nd in scoring position, trying to extend this lead.
Lewis at the plate for the 3rd time today. He's 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the 2nd. His run that he scored is currently the winning run. Switch hitter for San Francisco. We saw bat from the right side with Swim on the mound. Now you've got that righty Hood, so 2nd time he's batting from the left side. Landry shuffling around to the bag at 2nd. Hood looks at him, comes home with it. And Lewis tried to put that one over the fence and right. It's 1-2. He goes down on strikes. Good response right there from Hood.
Yeah, and a nasty changeup right there from Landon Hood. You can see 6 strikeout today. He's gotten them on all kinds of stuff. This one coming on a perfectly located changeup. Just has Lewis way out in front.
That brings up TJ Rogers. Brad Student, one of the leaders for the Dons, not necessarily verbally, but with his actions, his play defensively, how he handles himself up at the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a walk and a run scored. Rogers last year was an All-WCC 2nd team selection. He hit .314. It's the 2nd straight year of hitting over 300. Played in 52 games for the Dons. It's an All-WCC preseason selection this year, but his numbers have taken a dip. As Hood unable to find the zone, it's 3-0 against Rogers. 251 coming into today. And that's a 4-pitch walk. This is what Rogers was able to do last night in the ninth. A huge RBI single that tied the game up at 4. As Landry came around to score, and that's the type of leadership that Dons love to see out of him. And you know, no moment is too big for Rogers, and he showed it last night. There's Trevor Norman. 1 for 2 on the day, a walk in the first, came around to score, singled in the second. It's his 3rd hit of this tournament. Got too much underneath it. Should be playable on the infield. Shoop makes the catch on the grass, and that strands 2. 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs scored. It stays 6-5 as we head to the 7th inning, the later portion of our game. Maddox Haley leads things off for Gonzaga, as Jackson Nystrom will come up for the 4th time today. He's 2 for 3 with a couple of RBI singles. His last time up, though, was a fly out to center field to Bo Schinkel.
8 zeros in a row put up by these two teams. Wouldn't have guessed that after the way it was going through 2.5 innings. Landon Hood's largely responsible. On the Gonzaga side, he has been excellent. Came in the 2nd inning, still out there now in the 7th. Just a couple of hits, couple of walks, 6 strikeouts, and showing good stuff. Demonstrating why he was the conference freshman of the year.
Ground ball over towards second. Shoot, misplayed it off of his glove, and Nystrom will leg it out. And it's a good thing Wróblewski was behind Eisenstadt. And as Nystrom running a hard 90, causing a bit of panic for Shoop after he didn't play that one cleanly.
Pretty routine. Looked like Shoop just kind of got his feet stuck in cement a little bit there. He wanted to stay moving, stay active, stay fluid. And he got a little bit still and stuck and made the error, and then almost compounded it by throwing it over his first baseman's head. But as you noted, Wróblewski was there. Catchers run over there hundreds of times a season, most of the time to no effect, but it matters once in a while, and they need to be there for that reason, and he was there right then.
Eddie Esquivel, 1 for 3. With an RBI single in the first. Since then, though, a strikeout and a ground out. But the leadoff man is aboard for San Francisco, and they could really use an insurance run, as 1 run does not feel comfortable against Gonzaga. This one put into the air and to left. Young makes the catch over his left shoulder. Esquivel retired. San Francisco, though, no strangers necessarily to this type of situation. When we talked to Rob DeToma last night, he talked about how all offseason and, you know, some of those practices during the year, they practice these situations, 1-run spots. You're up a run, you're down a run. How do you respond because of what happened last year? They dropped so many 1-run ball games, but it's really helped them this season where they've won a lot of 1-run ball games. Makes me think of that Santa Clara series where it was all 3. It was a sweep for San Francisco, but all 3 were just 1-run ball games. And that's the type of preparation that Rob DeToma wanted his team to be ready for. Zach Rampant, 0 for 2. Pulls this one over towards third. That was awfully close to bouncing over the bag. Instead, it's called foul by Alberto Ruiz.
One more look at it there. Just a hair foul.
Mikey Bell trying to go for that force out at second.
Yeah, Bell did the right thing. You play it through until you hear the umpire's call. That was going to be a difficult play to either bag. Great effort by Bell.
The 0-2 to Rampant. Thought it was something he could handle, at least protect his own there. Fouls it off to stay alive, 0-2.
and a nice job doing that. That's not an easy pitch to get a piece of. High, hard fastball just up out of the zone, 94 miles an hour, but able to spoil it.
Goes changeup for strike 3.
That's a pretty devastating sequence there. High fastball at 94, nasty changeup with good action coming down and in. Righty-righty. As a right-handed batter, you just don't see that very often. You're not prepared for a right-handed changeup, especially with that kind of movement down and in. Dropping off about 13 miles an hour from the fastball you just saw. Great back-to-back sequence there by Landon Hood.
7th strikeout of the day for Hood since he's come in relief out of the bullpen. Gets a first pitch strike on Tyler Harry's zone 1. 8 strikeouts is his career high. He had that back in March, on March 8th at Creighton. Harries lines it over to Mikey Bell. Cool and collected, makes the catch on the line out. So the leadoff error nullified. Gets left stranded over at first. We head to the 8th inning. 6-5 lead. Can Gonzaga tie it up?
For the Dons as they try to hold on to this 1-run lead.
Ground ball over towards short and off the webbing of the glove of Sanchez. So the leadoff man is aboard. Garrison gets on. Looked like a relatively routine. Got that short hop though at the last second. It was Isaiah Landry who had a double in his last at bat, is 1 for 3. Some defensive moves, by the way. Landon White has taken over for Tommy Eisenstadt over at first. Cabrera also stayed in the game. He's now out in right field as Schinkel was replaced. Meffert moves over from right to center. Showed bunt, called a strike, 0-1. Now, Mike, you've got a quality runner over at first base right now. Garrison, 5 stolen bases. I know they're trying to square the bunt right here, but trying to get into scoring position. Do you even think about possibly trying to steal a base here?
Well, if Isaiah White's comfortable Landry's comfortable bunting, I think probably that'd be the first option. But he's not bunting here. Pops it up to center. Now that that's out of play, I would certainly consider it. Yeah, I think, it's never a bad idea to play aggressively. You know, you got a speedy runner on there. You don't want to be foolish, of course. You don't want to send somebody who's slow, but put a little pressure on the defense. You know, force Wróblewski to make a good throw. Everything has to go right. Throw a guy out. You're successful more often than you're not. I think it's worth taking a chance here against a pitcher who's really having his way with you.
Gives yourself a possible chance at an insurance run. As Jared Lewis steps up, batting from the left side, pick-off attempt. Talked about Hood reaching that 90 pitch mark on that last at-bat. And the flexibility that Coach Macdoff is allowing him to throw. It's been a tough situation for the freshman coming in. His team hasn't had the lead at all yet, but honestly, he's kind of kept them in this game by minimizing what the Dons have been able to do offensively since he entered. Change up. Got a big swing and miss, 1-1.
I will say, though, that Landon Hood is working pretty quickly to the plate. He's got a kind of a modified slide step there. So that does make it more difficult. Garrison will feel like he really needs to get a good read to be able to go on that quick delivery home.
Look to be off speed again from Hood. It's now 1-2 as he gets ahead on Lewis. Lewis just 1 for 4 on the day. 3 for 13 at the tournament. And he had the unfortunate situation last night in the 9th. He squared the bunt and then wore a pitch, but it didn't matter because he was showing for the bunt. Deals with the 1-2. Ends up with a strikeout. And that'll tie the career high for Landon Hood. Just a freshman, but he's hit the 8 strikeout mark once before. And he does it again. Now he's got TJ Rogers. Doesn't have a hit today, but he's reached base twice. And he's got 2 walks to his name. Rogers has drawn 5 walks at the tournament so far. Trevor Harmon on deck. 2 outs, runner at first. Rogers whiffs at the first pitch, 0-1. You can see the confidence that Hood has, too. There's no one pitch that he's afraid to throw, and going up against a veteran hitter like Rogers, delivers that first pitch strike.
He's got an impressive arsenal.
Rogers, 1 hit or 1 hop over into left field. 2 out and 2 on for San Francisco.
Take another look at this swing from Rogers. Got a fastball up. Pitch after swinging through a changeup. Hood came back with a fastball. Rogers was ready for it, got on top of it, lined it out to left field. And now comes Harmon, who's had a couple of big swings already this week for this Dons offense.
He's 1 for 3 today. Fouls it off, just thrown out 0-1. Walk and a run scored in the first, single in the second. Since then, though, strikeout looking in the fourth. And then he popped out to Hudson Shoup in the 6th. And Rubleski calling time.
Well, it's a big spot. Gonzaga's down 1. They don't want to be down 2 or 3 going to the 9th. So Rubleski's coming out there to make sure that he and Hood are on the same page, that they're going to throw something that Hood is comfortable with. This deep into the game, he knows what's feeling good. He knows what's not. He knows what he can locate.
And Rob DeToma is going to call in his guys now, and they're going to have their own meeting.
Yeah. You can call time, so can I.
I feel like at this point you're trying to keep these guys engaged and be aware of the situation here. There are 2 outs. 2nd and 3rd, and how key and big an insurance run would be for the Dons, as Gonzaga has flirted with a couple of guys on base over the last few innings, but unable to get that tying run in. See if Bakura goes back out. There is an arm warming up in the bullpen right now for San Francisco. Harmon puts us into foul territory. White will make the catch. Looks like Ryder Young will be the man who comes to the plate first for Gonzaga, followed by Maddox, Haley, and Noah Mefford. All of them looking for their first hit. We'll be back for the start of the 9th.